Tailgate Talks, AI in construction. I got special edition today. We've got Con Doyle, who's actually a friend of the family over from the parish of Kiltubbard, where I'm from back in Ireland. And I've had the pleasure of Con staying with us the last couple of nights. We had a family breakfast this morning and we dove deep into Con's background in the world of AI. And my family said we got to get Con on Tailgate Talks. So that's how we ended up here. So Con, thanks for jumping on. Do you want to give a background? Your background is not construction. That's what makes this a special and unique. So cybersecurity, tell us what you do.
Yeah, so I'm a cybersecurity engineer at home in Ireland, and been working for the last couple of years. AI obviously has taken off. You've had the ChatGPT moment in November 22, I believe. And since then, everyone's been racing to see how is AI going to affect our business. And the companies that I get to work with in my current day job is a lot of regulated industries. You've got private sector, government entities, as well as pharma and fintech, all that sort of stuff. So it's really interesting to get to see those industries and how they're approaching AI. And I've been on the forefront, keeping track of the news as it's coming out. It's a tough to stay ahead of it.
Yeah.
The news moves so fast, but it's an area that I'm trying to keep up to date with. As a cybersecurity professional, this new technology is opening up holes in different places, and you see a lot of headlines about it. So it's really important for me to stay ahead of the curve in that way. And yeah, I'm delighted to be here just to chat and see how it can affect how this might
affect construction. Yeah, because I was going over things with you, Con, on some of the challenges we have as a software in the construction space. Quite rightly so. There's a lot of apprehension about security and data
Definitely.
privacy, walls. And that's why I thought it'd be pretty fascinating to talk to you, because that's where you deal with is trying to assure companies that, as best you can, that their data is protected. I think we'll just dive in to the 5 questions. Our mantra here, Con, is there's no experts, there's no hype, and there's no wrong answers. There is no experts. Even you that's in the cybersecurity space, you've said that yourself, that everything is just moving so fast. But when you hear the words AI agent, what honestly comes to mind to you?
So it actually means quite a lot, and I got to see some of your previous interviews, and it's become a buzzword. It's become a term along with AI. AI agent now is the 2 words together that's become a buzzword, and it means a lot of different things to the different people that are working on it. But really what it means is giving the AI brain, the model behind it, the ability to do actions, to do real things in the real world. At the moment, that's largely through software, but more and more we see that where those actions can bridge into the real world through different sorts of robotics and stuff like that. So an agent is really where you've got that initial kind of tools and actions that it can take. And then what's happening in more recent times is the capability has grown to where the agents are able to work on a much broader task that knowledge workers get to do. And they have the ability to access multiple different tools and produce a piece of work the way that the average kind of knowledge worker, office worker might be able to do.
Yeah, well, we started to go down a rabbit hole, and you can go down some crazy rabbit holes of dystopia and apocalyptic stuff, but some of it is super exciting because you touched on robots there, on the reasoning why a lot of these new robots that will be flooding the markets are in a humanoid shape. Because for hundreds of years, society has lived and walked in through hallways and sat at computers or in factory type settings or up and down stairs. So it makes sense for the robots to come in that sort of shape and form. So there's that aspect. And what else fascinated me about the conversation earlier was some of the interfaces that the agents will replicate the human on. And do you want to talk about a term I hadn't heard before, a GUI,
graphical user interface. So very similar to what we're seeing, like the humanoid, the robot aspect is still a few years down the road before that kind of becomes diffused among general society. But they're building in the way that the world is already created for the human body. The door handles are already created for the human hand. Everything you can think of works for us because that's all that there has been.
Yeah.
And really the next step that's going to happen, and it's what's going to be part of the next evolution with these AI agents, is having this computer use. as it's sometimes termed, or where the agents are actually able to interact with a computer screen the way that humans do. We've built software, we've built applications, we've built websites for the humans to be able to use the keyboard and mouse or the touch screen, whether it's on small form or big form, and that graphical interface that we're used to, swiping and clicking, the agents are going to get very good very quickly at actually doing that.
So is that you feel is the next phase that we're all going to start to see appearing more and more?
Definitely, it's starting. It's harder for the model companies that are creating this AI to get to that stage. A lot of the agentic capability that they have now works through programmatically, so it's where the AI agent will write some code or write some commands, and that gets sent through, and it's really interfacing with a computer with the terminals back the way it used to be done when you used to have a dummy terminal that used to talk to the mainframe back yonks ago.
Right.
And really that's the area that they've already solved for, and now the next step really is to try and see, can we generalize this AI that it can work with the tools that humans are already capable of using. And we can see it in the tech industry. The reason that the tech industry itself has been able to flourish with these AI agents and we're all using them is that firstly we have the technical skills to kind of duct tape together these tools.
Yeah.
So we can kind of put together a system that works, and it's only a matter of time before that gets packaged up into a more of a polished consumer or enterprise product, where we will start to see the likes of Claude Cowork and ChatGPT work coming out in recent times, where the average knowledge worker will get access to these agentic capabilities. But yeah, it's a very fast-moving area, and it's hard to say that there's the limitations that are currently there won't be there in a couple of months or weeks. These things are moving so fast. So one of the things the model companies are working on right now is that computer use.
Yeah.
And they're figuring out how to allow safely, and security is a huge aspect as to why AI hasn't been diffused among general society as much as most people kind of expected it to, given its transformational power.
Yeah.
And it's that computer use capability will definitely have a huge impact in the next coming months.
It'll kind of turn the tide, I think, in just people everyday use once that becomes.
It'll change our interface with technology. What that means is we've gone from the keyboard and mouse to now a touchscreen. And over time, we're getting better at using our voices with voice command. We had Siri and virtual assistants, and it's going to be an evolution of that, where you've got a much more powerful version of those voice assistants and a simpler interface. A lot of these companies are working on new hardware that is going to allow us to interface more seamlessly and through human contact, through voice, through video, with these AI agents to be able to achieve the things we're trying to do.
Yeah, I've even heard and read that the keyboard as we know it will phase its way out as we become more and more or go more and more down that road. If AI could take one task off your plate tomorrow, what goes first?
This question is a funny one, because most of the things I think of, I have the ability and I've put together the tools to already do that. I've actually automated away a lot of my day-to-day stuff. Like, I have personal AI agents that help me with my travel, help me with planning out my bookings, my hotels, my flights, as well as agents that help me track my health and track my fitness wearables, my food, my calories, all of that sort of stuff, and is able to put together personalized plans for me. Now, as I said before, tech people are able to solve tech problems because they're the ones they're familiar with. And what's really interesting about our conversations recently is how, when construction industry or any sort of industry that is not used to the tech side merges together, how you can have a transformation in your industry.
Yeah, and I think that's the key that we will start to see, and that's why I was excited to get talking to you today, because that's where the two worlds will eventually merge and catch up with each other. What part of this business, and I usually talk about the construction business, would you never hand to a machine? But if you were in the boots of a construction estimator, project manager, or owner of a quarry or ready-mix plant, what would you see as the part that you'd never hand over to
Well, I suppose I'll take it from the aspect of based on my experience.
Yeah.
Based on the people, the industries that I've dealt with our clients, responsibility is something for responsibility for an outcome, responsibility for a task. That is generally what's associated with people that are moving into the managerial kind of steps on the ladder. And that is going to be something that individuals now will become responsible for the outcomes or the goals. And what the tools they use as a means to get there is kind of secondary. And it's like the job tasks themselves might become automated or abstracted away to a certain extent. But ultimately, the responsibility there, because the human connection is not going to go away. Humans will buy from humans, and that is something that is kind of foundational and won't change.
Yeah, that came up before. It was, just very simply put, the skin in the game, the liability aspect of it all. Yeah, the signing off of something. So, 10 years from now, this might cause your mind to blow. Give me your best and worst case for this, for say our industry or industries in general, because I would assume within 10 years that merge is going to happen more, that we're not going to be so far behind, say, guys who work in technology like you. But can you give me like some of your best and worst case type visions for where it'll all be?
Well, I think there's an awful lot of doomerous takes online, and there's a lot of dystopian scenarios that people portray, and you have to act it's in our human nature to think that way as well.
Yeah.
So
true.
one of the ways that I've really tried personally to follow is to lean into the optimism. Think about how can we use this transformative technology for good, and empower humans, not any of the alternatives. So when it comes to the kind of towards an optimistic future, maybe not the best case scenario, I think, well, firstly, technology through the last however many decades has been layers of abstraction. It has been, we've started off with the hardware, we've got up to machine code, low-level languages, right up to now where we're speaking in English and we're able to create software.
Yeah.
That's going to diffuse, and this technology is going to diffuse out and be democratized to where different industries like yourselves are going to be get touched by this sort of technology, and hopefully will empower it. And it's companies like yourselves that are taking the right approach to try and boost the industry with the technical capabilities that is coming from the bleeding edge.
Yeah, I would say so. And you're under 25. My two boys are the same. So I think digital natives like yourself are just going to expect it when you move into a new company, whether it's a heavy civil contractor or over on the supply side working for a producer. So yeah, well said there, Con. So you don't have kids yet. You're still a young man. But what would you, what are you telling young people coming up and getting into industry, whether it's getting into the construction industry or making choices, this going back to some of the doom and gloom reporting and press out there, certain professions being decimated because of AI, and then other endless opportunities supposed to come from AI. What's your take on what would you give, some of your people around your own age or coming up?
Yeah, it's a difficult question to be able to answer fully, but kind of general guidance for younger people coming through the education system, I would often say look into tech, look into STEM, engineering, science, technology, maths. It's the whole area of that is driving the technology.
Okay.
You've got the trades, which is a great option for young people, and it's becoming a booming business at the minute. And then the alternative to that is to lean into the humans even more and go down maybe the healthcare route or the social care route. I think they're the kind of three avenues that you can take where there's definitely a strong future, and it can't be changed from what we know.
Yeah. You earlier on you were talking about critical thinking classes, and that goes back to the human, the human connection. Despite having this just immensely powerful technology upon us all now, it'll still boil back to the human connection and the human aspect, I think.
Definitely, I think exactly. The human to human soft skills, communication skills are huge. Critical thinking, critical analysis, so much of what we consume online, which becomes so much of our day today, these days, for everyone, every generation. I'm seeing it from the thoughts right up.
Yeah.
Everyone is scrolling on their phone constantly, and they're consuming a lot of information. We've short attention spans now with the short clips.
Yeah.
Critical thinking, to being able to analyze, okay, is there biases from this source? What are they trying to tell me here? It's such a huge skill, and now with a more and more artificial world, it's important to be able to decipher that. It's becoming more difficult, but it's a skill that needs to be taught from a young age. And then also to go alongside that is to build expertise in an area. One of the things that I've gained great kind of power from with the AI is when I understand an area, I can verify whether the AI is telling me the right things. And so this idea of taste and judgment becomes a big thing, because we lean towards human-generated art, and I mean art in a very broad sense.
Yeah.
In the same way that in the trades, a master craftsman creates a form of art in their pieces.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's that taste that you develop from going deep in certain areas that I think is hugely important, because that's the bit that will be valuable going forward, because there is that human touch to it, and only humans can really feel that taste. There's something, we all have that uncanny valley feeling when we see these artificial kind of posts and content.
Yeah, it's just not. Yeah, it's just kind of it's something inside that tells you. And I think that's the desire for authenticity and realism will always be there. So, all right, well, Con, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you, and I'm on a personal level, I'm glad there's people like you setting or working on the guardrails for cybersecurity going forward. So, thanks for
Thanks very
stopping
much,
by
Paul.
for a few minutes. Yep.